Hey guys, check it out. I'm in front of the Hotel Miramar, which is right there. By the way, rumor has it that the famous author, J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote the books The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, turns out he stayed here a few times. As a matter of fact, he used to stay here on a regular basis. Let's go and have a look, shall we? Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're well. In this video, we're going to talk about whether Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000 by the end of this year. Let's talk about that. Join me. All right guys, welcome back. By the way, I'm making this video in Bournemouth, the south of England. By the way, if you haven't been to Bournemouth before, I highly suggest, oh hello, how are you doing?
Oh, it is a selfie.
Yeah, it's a selfie. Okay, I don't know what that was about. So I came to the south of England to do a quick video for you about the subject of Bitcoin. By the way, just to let you know, people say, can you show us around a little bit? Yeah, so you can see here, they've already put up the Christmas trees here and the decorations. By the way, this place is even nicer at night. We came here at nighttime, and last night was just beautiful, all the lights out. And okay, let's talk about Bitcoin. So the question I'm going to ask in this video is something many have been asking, and actually it's a question I posed to our own YouTube subscribers here. As you can see, I asked the question, are you confident? How confident are you about Bitcoin going to 100,000 by the end of this year, or before the end of this year, likely by the end of December? And it seems the majority of you who voted in this poll, as you can see there, the majority of you, about 35% of you, you said so you're moderately confident that Bitcoin could go to 100,000. But about 32% of you actually said, no, it's not likely, it's not going to happen, as you can see there. So I think it's about an even split. There were some of you who actually said you're very confident that Bitcoin could go to 100,000 or more by the end of this year, but that number seems to be quite low. But in any case, whatever you might feel about Bitcoin going to 100,000 or not, my question is this. I think the real question is, does it really matter if Bitcoin goes to 100,000 this year? I mean, we only have a few more weeks left to the end of the year, right? I mean, I'm making this video right now in November, the second half of November. So we only have about a few weeks left, 4 or 5 weeks left at the end of the year. So, I mean, does it really matter if Bitcoin goes to 100,000 by the end of this year? I always say, you know, what's the big rush? What's the big hurry? Everyone seems to be in a quick rush to get to 100K by the end of the year. And I would ask you, look, if Bitcoin got to 100K by January or February, would it make a difference to you? I mean, would you be unhappy about that? I don't think so. I mean, I think you'd still be very much excited, and I would say probably ecstatic about that. By the way, I do think we're heading towards 100K, but the question is, are we getting there by the end of this year, by the end of December? By the way, guys, check out over here. Got some really beautiful gardens here. Got this, by the way, just to let you know, this place has been around for a very long time. I've seen videos, black and white videos of this place when it was back in the 30s. I think back in the 1920s, 1930s, this place has been around even since then. And really love the palm trees and the beautiful gardens here. So in a previous video, you probably remember, I made a special video about this. I talked about Bitcoin's seasonality. So you may recall in that previous video I made about seasonality of Bitcoin, we did actually some calculations. We looked at Bitcoin statistics. And in the stats for Bitcoin, we found that, in fact, Bitcoin between the period from the end of October, in other words, the period from 31st of October to 31st of December, what's called the Halloween effect, usually Bitcoin does quite well. So usually Bitcoin performs quite well in that period, as you can see here. So the majority of the results are that when Bitcoin is in an uptrend, so when Bitcoin is above its 200-day moving average, Bitcoin has a tendency to move up by about 38%. The median performance for Bitcoin in this period was, as we found, 38.9%, okay? So again, as long as Bitcoin stays in an uptrend above its 200 daily moving average, we found that seasonal pressures and seasonal patterns favor Bitcoin to move up by about 38.9% based on a median figure. In other words, to go up by that amount between October to December. Now, of course, let's remember that 38.9% is a median figure. Bitcoin might exceed that figure. It might go up much more than that, or actually it might go less than that. The fact is, we're just going by the median figure. So we found that based on the closing price of Bitcoin on October 31st, okay, as you can see there, we found the closing price of Bitcoin, and we applied the 38.9% to it. And we found that based on that, there's a slightly higher probability for Bitcoin to move up to 85,227, likely by the end of this year, based on that median figure. Now, of course, is that a guarantee? No. People often think that seasonal patterns and seasonal pressures, again, the Halloween effect or the Christmas rally, all this kind of stuff, they think it's a given. They think it's a sure thing. It's not a sure thing. Nothing in the markets, whether it's Bitcoin or stock markets or gold, nothing is a sure thing. Nothing is a certainty, okay? These are only probabilities. But I do personally prefer to base my judgment, to base my likely targets for Bitcoin by the end of this year on this seasonal pattern, on this seasonal figure of 38.9%. Which again puts it at 85,227 for Bitcoin, as long as Bitcoin remains above 50K. Now recently Bitcoin dropped down, had a retracement or correction in its price. The bottom line is that I think that it's less likely for Bitcoin to reach 100K this year. Now you might disagree with that, and look, I could be wrong about that, but I personally think that the $85,000 level that I mentioned probably is more likely. Again, we have to be careful when suddenly everyone starts expecting the same thing. So be very cautious when everybody starts thinking the same thing or when everyone starts expecting the same thing. I'm actually going to make a separate video for you about this tendency for people to adopt herd mentality and they all expect the same thing. In fact, usually when this happens, the opposite often happens. So I think there's a probability that Bitcoin could reach the $80,000 to $85,000 range as long as it remains above 50K. Because below 50K, downside risk would increase. Hey guys, check it out. I'm in front of the Hotel Miramar, which is right there. By the way, rumor has it that the famous author, J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote the books The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, turns out he stayed here a few times. As a matter of fact, he used to stay here on a regular basis. Let's go and have a look, shall we? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn us around. So look at the squirrel over here. Very Christmassy, I think. But a beautiful hotel here. I don't know if you're into those kind of books. Again, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. But it turns out, so there it is, as you can see here. It turns out he stayed here. Let's go and have a look at that plaque, by the way. So I think so over here. So it turns out his wife and him used to come to Bournemouth quite a lot. So there it is. Here's the plaque. So John Ronald Reuel, I don't know how you pronounce that. So J.R.R. Tolkien, 1892, 1973, author and scholar, stayed here regularly from the 1950s until 1972. Okay, that's really cool. Okay. By the way, I wonder, should we go and have a look inside? Let's go and have a look inside. Let's go in. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. Nice Christmas tree. Oh, it's really beautiful here. Oh, nice. Oh, it's a nice Christmas tree here, guys. Oh, what a beautiful lounge. Piano. All right, so I think she'll go out now. Oh, here we go. All right, guys, I hope you liked that. So, hope I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers, guys, from Bournemouth.